Alright, so this is a video that's just going over how you would adjust your photos, taking the photos with the glasses of water for the refraction and the lines. I'm not going over how to set up the still life because it's really something that the students can do on their own. I think it's fairly self-explanatory given the directions that are provided in the PDF. You know, you're placing the laminated line drawing behind a cup with water in it. And then I actually used a mirror underneath as kind of like the table surface. I thought that created a little bit more interest and depth in the photos. You don't need to do that, but that's really optional. Okay, so I'm in Photoshop CC, and I've opened up the student's photo here. I'm just going to left click and remove the guide here. Okay, so right now, here's the photo. It's actually not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and create a adjustment layer, and we're going to use our levels. Okay, so now my levels panel pops up, and then I can go in and I tell students, you know, you never want to over darken it so that it looks underexposed. You don't want it to, overexposed, and you don't want to go the other direction where it's too bright, where it's overexposed, too much light. And so it's basically adjusting the slider bars. This is your dark, this is your midtones, and then your lights, and then where they can still see details, okay? And I just ask them to kind of adjust. All right, so once the levels are adjusted, then we're gonna go to filter. I'm gonna go to sharpen, and I do an unsharpened mask. I usually do an amount that's about 15 to 20. I leave usually the radius and threshold about the same. And then I'm going to hit OK. So now my image has been color corrected. Now what I want to do is I'm going to left click and hold on my ruler to pull a guide. Now if you do not see your ruler, you just hit Command R on a Mac or Control R on a PC, and then the ruler pops up. Students have a hard time. They will ask, where do I need to click on my ruler? Really anywhere on the ruler. Left click and hold and drag that down. So this student did a pretty good job keeping their horizon line straight, but if I needed to and I needed to adjust, make sure I adjust the actual photo, hit Control A or Command A on a Mac, hit Control T, because now I can transform it, and I could rotate if that horizon line was off, and I could scale it or whatever I needed to do to adjust that. Once I'm done, I'm just gonna double click on the inside to release, Control D to deselect. I would also ask them to crop, because I talked to the students about the rule of thirds. You get this 9-zone grid, and then you can adjust where things are crossing in these intersections to create a more interesting composition. So I might actually bring it up a little bit. Okay, so now I've cropped it. I'm going to go to View. We're going to clear guides just to get rid of that. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Image. We're going to go to Canvas Size. I'm going to look at what size that is. Okay, that's really big. I only have a letter size printer in my classroom, so I'm going to go to Image Size right here. I'm going to adjust this, and the height I know is going to be about 10. And see how, because resampled is not checked, it's automatically doing the math and it's adjusting the resolution. And I'm fine with when I resample, then I can go and type in 200, and then these values do not change. And hit OK. And then I'm going to go to Image, and I'm going to go to Canvas Size, and this is where I'm going to actually put my letter size dimension in. The little white dot tells you that it's expanding it from the center point. You could always click wherever you wanted to make that adjustment, but I like the center. I want to make sure my background canvas is set to white, and I'm going to hit OK. So now you get this nice little white frame. I'm going to use the Type tool, and I'm going to left click in this space right here. I'm fine with Arial, that's fine. And then I'm going to put student name. They would actually type their name and then use their Move tool and adjust where the type is. I usually have it on the lower right hand side, flush with the photo. And then there is their finished Photoshop file. I'm going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to make sure it's a Photoshop file. I'm going to hit Save. Now I want to go to File, Save As, and now they're going to save it as a JPEG. And I go ahead and change the format to a JPEG. I would have them include their name in the file name so I know whose is whose. I'm going to hit Save. This compressed file is going to be a lot smaller. I'm just going to hit 8 for quality. Because I use Microsoft Teams. A lot of teachers, public school teachers, will use Google Classroom, and the JPEG, granted, it's not going to have the layers, it's going to be flattened down, but the file size is going to be smaller, and then the file's not going to get rejected when they upload it to the assignment. Okay, so that's basically what I covered right here, is how to go ahead, adjust your levels, color correct it, how to rotate the photo and transform it, also how to sharpen it, how to extend out your canvas size, adjust your resolution, and then go ahead and include the student's name. Also, I did 200 PPI because my printer in my classroom tends to have a hard time if it's over 300, and graphics teachers, photography teachers know that 300 PPI is usually what they need for high resolution for print. But because of my situation in my classroom, 200 PPI works fine. So it just really depends on what devices you're outputting to get your final print of your photography. But thank you for listening, and thank you for purchasing the video and the directions and the PowerPoint that are included and the student examples. All right, bye.